our purpose in life, is to find God in ourselves and to engage in a continuous struggle to submit to His will. To accept the fact that we were brought on this earth, and the greatest joy we will ever find is to actually be in servitude to Him. If we can find that willingly ourselves, then we have found our purpose in life. Willing, consensual servitude to God in any respect He wants. Now, when we say someone completely submits to someone else, or someone's completely under somebody else's will, then in the social sense, we actually consider that a form of slavery. In any other context, to take God out of the picture, when someone is in complete submission to somebody else's will, they do what somebody else says, regardless of what area of life. You know, in our jobs, there's at least a job description, right? So if you're an accountant, sorry to pick on accountants, then you're only working a certain number of hours, and you're not going to be asked to mop the floor unless the economy is really bad. You know, you're going to be, there's a particular set of things you're supposed to do. Beyond that, if you're told to do them, you say, oh, that's not my job. I'm just an accountant, right? But when you're in absolute submission to another entity's will, in other words, you're in slavery, well, a slave owner can turn to the slave and say what? Mop the floor, do the accounting, wash the windows while you're at it, do my laundry, whatever. He cannot be told, well, that's beyond my job description, right? And obviously, I'm using the term slavery, and it has negative connotations. But I want you to understand something. That in one sense, we do actually proudly accept willing slavery to God as Muslims. We actually call ourselves abd in Arabic, literally meaning slave. I can't give you a politically correct translation. That's what it is. Abd literally means in Arabic, slave. And that is actually the call of God to us, accept yourselves as slaves of mine. Now, the difference, though, is slavery. Let's just compare slavery in every other context and slavery in the Muslim context to God. Slavery is willing or unwilling. Does someone enter into slavery willingly or unwillingly? Unwillingly. It's never like, hey, I've exhausted all other career paths, so might as well. No, it doesn't work that way. Never has, never will. Islam, our slavery to God is already unique because He's saying, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. By the way, whenever I quote something in Arabic, I'll translate immediately. Whoever wants, they can come and believe. Whoever wants, they can walk away. It's your choice. So it's already different because it's willing. Second, a slave would have to be a slave in every matter of life. Right? Everything he does is up to the master's whim. God basically says, it's very beautiful in Islamic literature, the Quran says, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, which actually says they do the few good things expected of them. In other words, God didn't make a long, endless list of stuff you got to do. There's a very short list of do's and don'ts. Take care of this and you live your life. Take care of this and everything else, you do however you do it. And even those few things, they're actually very, very few. There are very, very few restrictions, and there are very, very few obligations. You meet those, and you're in the clear. Other than that, enjoy life. Do whatever else you want. And even in those few restrictions, what God continuously explains is He only put them there because not putting them there will put you in harm's way. Our scholars traditionally explain God's restrictions like medication for a sick child. Which child? I have 6 kids myself. Yeah, seriously, 6. What child ever likes to take medication? I mean, honestly. But is it necessary? Yeah, and it's painful sometimes too. And the mother is forcing cough medicine down her son's throat, and he's yelling and screaming, and he's saying, I hate you, Mom, I can't believe you're doing this to me, why would you do this to me, etc. But at the end of all of it, that is an act of love from a mother. It's a painful act of love, but it's still an act of love, because she knows something the child doesn't. She understands something the child doesn't. And in some sense, some of the restrictions of Islam are explained in that way. In other words, عَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. God says, maybe you hate something, but it's good for you. Maybe you really like something, but it's no good for you. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah knows and you don't. Just trust me.